Howdy! How's everybody out there in YouTube land tonight? I hope this finds you dry. Them April showers has pulled right on over into May, and they're drowning us. I don't know, maybe fall before I get my grass seed planted because, Tony didn't show up when it was dry. He's over here to mow the other day. I said, when you plan on coming and landscaping the front for me? And he says, the next time it gets dry.
Jeez. That about sums it up. Yes, it rained buckets. And the grass is jumping out of the ground. Like you can see it growing. That's how fast it's running. That's amazing.
Well, he just mowed Saturday, and here it is Thursday. I was looking at it yesterday. I thought, well, it could use being mowed again. It's not out of control, but, it could definitely use it. And I thought, I ain't calling him over here. Let him do what he needs to do. It's too wet, really, to have that mower out in it anyway. We'll just wait and see what happens. But
when I was mowing, I missed this little strip. And I can see it out the window. I'm like, I should just get that mower out, just get that one little, 30-foot section. It's only about 6 inches wide, but it's twice as tall. I'm like, you know what? I'll hit it the next time around.
And then, see, once you mow that strip, then you'd notice that, well, now it don't match the rest of it. And I got to mow the rest of it so that it matches this strip that I did over here.
Brenda, you know me too well.
Yep, I do.
You know me too well.
Speaking of knowing you too well, how'd you like Heifer Haven last week?
Oh, my goodness. You never cease. Never cease to surprise me.
Have you tried that with Tracy yet?
Oh.
I notice your eyes ain't black.
Brandon the Pinocchio's here. Hello, hello.
Hey, Brandon, good to see you.
He's joking with us. That's all good. Hey, chat away, my friend. It's all good.
You need to share this thing out and get everybody invited in here. If we get some folks in here, we'll have a giveaway after a bit. So share it out, hit that like button, all the good stuff. If you haven't hit the red button, hit that red button too. Hey, how's things going between you and Susan?
No complaints so far. She's rolling out new stuff and there's new features on the platform, and everyone now has the shorts button on the app where you can make a short directly through the YouTube app, and you don't need to have 1,000 subscribers to do it. That's fun. Yeah, it's going. Well, it's going okay. I did notice on everyone's channel 0 videos. Like the banner loaded, the tabs loaded, your icon loaded, but then everyone's channel had no content uploaded. And it was like that for about 45 minutes, and then it fixed itself, which is typically what happens when things get weird with websites. They tend to behave like I just described.
Well, I had got a phone call yesterday. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. One day kind of rolls into the next for me, but I think it was yesterday from another YouTuber that had a question for me about why could she not respond or reply to a comment I had made on one of her videos. She could heart it. She said, I have tried over the past week at least a dozen times to reply.
Reply link. She clicks the reply link.
She said it will not reply. It replies to everybody else that she makes replies to, but to my comment, it would not reply. And I told her that she needed to complain to you about it so that you could go back to Susan and ask her why she was blocking people from replying to my comments on their videos. But I made another comment on that same video for her while we were on the phone, and she was able to reply to that one. But she never could reply to the one comment that I made.
Yeah, there could have been something on the back end database out of whack with that one entry, that one comment. Maybe an ID wasn't lining up or something. Who knows? No, it's impossible to know what the reason was. But
well, that's what Susan would say. I know what the reason was.
Yeah, well, she just wants to yank your chain and, get you going.
Well, Jim Bashirs is out there in the chat, and Steve is out there with Harneal Media, and Jim Dockrell is out there in the chat. We'll say hey to all of them. We're yanking Matt's chain about his girlfriend Susan and how she blocking people from replying to my comments on their videos.
To one of your comments. This was
that I know of. See, that's one. Where there's smoke, there's generally fire. So that's one that I know of. So if anybody else is having that problem and can't reply to a comment that I make on your video, let me know about it so that I can complain to Matt.
See, Brenda thinks I have the bat phone into the Google campus. Yeah.
He's got the main line to Susan is what he's got. And all that pillow talk going on. Think I don't know what goes on. I've been around the block a time or two. Well, I'll take that back. I ain't been around the block. I've been up and down the street a couple times.
It's good. It's good. Kicking butt and taking names when you're walking up and down the street, I bet.
Well, everybody tends to leave me alone anymore.
Because they know better.
The dogs won't even bark at me when I go up and down the street.
Now, why couldn't I have that ability when I had my paper route when I was 13 years old? Dogs would just go on a tear. I'm like, I'm just delivering the paper. Relax. Not one dog was ever anything but a level 10. Full maximum, tearing at the door.
You have to be scarier than the dog.
I was a little scrawny 13-year-old.
Well, and there's your problem.
I was skin and bones back then.
Jimbo's in the house. Hey, Jimbo, how's things in Florida? Is it raining down there? It's raining in my house. It rained all day. It's going to rain all night.
Russ posted something where it was like 90, it was almost 100 degrees in Florida. And I'm just like, at this point, why does Florida even exist? Like, why don't they just pave over it and just have it be a parking lot? Like, with the torrential downpours or the sweltering heat, it's like, it's almost a joke. It's a bad joke. I'm like, why?
Somebody from Florida called me up earlier today and was talking to me and wanted to know what the weather was like here, and I told him, and then he's going on about how sweltering hot it was in Florida and went on and on, asked me if I'd ever been to Florida. And I said, well, I've been to Florida when I was a kid. And he says, oh, I bet you just loved it then because all kids love Florida. And I didn't say a word because I thought, you don't want to know what I thought of Florida when I was a kid. That's why I ain't been back. I wasn't thrilled with it. It rained every day that I was there. And when it wasn't raining, it was so hot she couldn't stand to be outside unless it was dark. And, swimming on the beach out there, that wasn't much fun after dark as far as I was concerned as a kid. And you burn your feet in the sand and sunburns. And no, it wasn't my cup of tea.
Yep. No, I've been to Orlando and Port Canaveral but a lot of people are from Florida. I mean, that's Florida, California, New York, and Chicago, Illinois. Those are like half of all cars registered are in those states. The rest of the states divvy up the second half of the population. Well,
there's a lot of people that's just falling over themselves to get to Florida. That's their retirement plan. They want to go to Florida, go to Florida, go to Florida. And I'm thinking, I would much rather go someplace that had like a moderate temperature, just moderate. If it could be 70 degrees all year round, not fluctuate, just 70 degrees day and night.
Yeah.
That will be perfect for me. But
72 is my sweet spot.
Right in there, that'd be perfect right there. Mm-hmm. But I haven't been able to find that. And the closest I've found is maybe northern Arkansas to mid Arkansas, right in that area. It stays fairly moderate.
Probably Tennessee, probably.
Well,
Kentucky.
the problem with Kentucky and Tennessee is that they flood. I had some areas in both states kind of picked out that, maybe if I ever hit the lottery, that I would want to go to. And when I got to doing my research, I found out that those places are generally underwater most of the time. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't want that. It's just a little too much water for me.
Exactly.
Now, I was thinking Gatlinburg, Tennessee, because, I love the mountains. I love the Smokies. And so I went to doing my research on that. Good Lord, that place floods all the time. I didn't realize they had that much flooding down there.
Jimbo suggests Hawaii.
Nah, I don't want to be out there. And
It's an overpopulated island.
And there's really nothing there. And it's expensive, extremely expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. But you've got all climates. You have snow in the mountains. You've got beaches and everything in between, and volcanoes.
There was a crafter that years ago that was on YouTube, and I used to hang out on her live streams some, and she would talk about Hawaii and what all she went through living there. And traffic apparently is horrendous. She talked about the weather. The houses are just pretty much just little shacks, not a whole lot of room in the houses. And there wasn't really anything much to do there except take your kid to school and pick your kid up from school and fight the traffic trying to get back. Everything was expensive, whether it was parking or shopping or anything. Trying to get stuff mailed to you was over the moon in postage back then. So
a guy from high school moved to Grand Cayman in the Bahamas. And he's like, I'm getting this huge salary. But, 20 years ago, milk was $8 a gallon. It was just like, it didn't spend. He spent it all. So he's like, he hightailed it out of there.
Jim Dockrell says, did you know there are objects in the universe that no one will ever know about on Earth? We travel away from each other faster than the speed of light.
Yeah, there's a limit to the observable universe because anything that's more than 14 billion light years away, the light hasn't hit us yet. And everything's moving away from each other. There'll be a point where everyone's secluded and it's going to be the great freeze because the different stars are going to be so far away from each other. You'd never be able to travel between them. And the stars are going to burn out one by one over millions of years. And eventually it's going to get to the point where things are going to be so far away from each other and it's just be a cold environment everywhere.
There's some people that I'd like to, have that kind of relationship with. Let's say Jim Bashir says, here's a fact. If you lose an engine on a jumbo jet, the other will take you all the way to the scene of the accident. You will even beat the ambulance there.
Yeah. Give that one a rim shot. There's a couple other ones in here. Someone said if you jump out of a plane, the fall won't kill you, the landing will. Jimbo said something to that effect. Yeah, that's a
sudden stop at the end of it does you in. Same thing with a ladder. You fall off a ladder. It's not the fall that gets you. It's that sudden stop when you hit the ground. Like a big old sack of taters. Speaking of sacks of taters, I've lost another 4 pounds.
Hey, good on ya.
I'm down 55 pounds now. Double nickels.
11. And I've never felt better. Feel great.
Well, you used my dieting advice that I tried to give you on Heifer Haven last week. You'll lose a lot of weight in them 2 or 3 weeks that it takes for your eyes to heal up and your teeth to get set again.
No, Brenda.
Tracy will stop cooking for you, and that ought to take care of you.
Yep.
Just trying to help.
I bought some gadgets and returned them. Did you ever use an external SSD drive, the solid state memory drive, no spinning disk?
No.
I bought one, fastest one on the planet. Big too, large storage. The thing was so incredibly hot. It's just sitting there plugged in, not even reading or writing anything to it. I could barely touch it. And apparently that's normal. I sent it back. I'm like, I don't even want it. And I got the return address, the label from Amazon, went to the Amazon store. They scanned it in, came home. 2 hours later, they credited me my money. They didn't even get the package back. I guess they just saw it. It entered the system. And they're like, now I chose to do the credit for my next purchase on Amazon. I didn't refund it to the credit card, but they're like, the funds processed, you've got it in your account. And I looked on my account, it said, yep, available funds. I was like, I didn't know they did that. And here's another fun Amazon fact, blow your mind maybe. I'm like, where is this thing before it got delivered? And I just by happenstance just wanted to check where it was on the shipping, because as a little manifest and says, oh, it's in Maryland, oh, it's in Middletown, it says it's 6 stops away. It put up a map and you could see the truck. And every 10 seconds, the truck would refresh 5 stops away, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I was like, when it was 1 stop away, I walked out the front door. There he was pulling up. I was like, I didn't know Amazon did that. Amazon's getting their stuff together. I'm impressed. That's pretty cool.
Now, I'd had them give me a refund back to my credit card the same day that I was returning something. This been, 4 or 5 years ago now. I had bought a GoPro from them, and it didn't work. And I'd even called GoPro and everything, trying to get this thing to work, and it wouldn't work. And then GoPro even told me return it. Yeah. And then I had to go back to Amazon. So I call Amazon up and I explained to them what was going on, and that, I had talked to the GoPro people and that they said I needed to return it. And I said, so I need to return this thing and I need to get it credited back to my credit card, or I need a replacement and I need it quick because I need this for a project I'm working on. And so she started about, it would take so many days to process, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, isn't there something that we can do about this? Because this is holding up production here. And she says, well, I'll tell you what, if you will promise me that you will put this thing in the mail immediately to get it back here, she says, I will credit it back to your credit card. And I said, well, sure, I will. I have no reason to hang on to it. They didn't have anything to replace it with. So I was going to have to go someplace else. I ended up at Best Buy. Well, I had to order it from Best Buy because they didn't have one in the store. Right. But, at least I got my money right away. I was good about it. I put that thing back in the mail to them immediately, to Amazon and all that. But yeah, they're generally willing to work with you. Don't screw them over or they won't do it again. I'm sure, that leaves some kind of a mark on your record if you try to mess with them.
I must be their number one customer because I'm always putting crap on there. Tracy's always putting crap on there. There's stuff delivered almost every day. It's to that point. Because if we don't have to go out and shop, we won't. We'll buy it on Amazon.
Now, I ordered stuff from them last week. And that's the first I've ordered from them for quite a while because, hey, I'm broke. I got the car payment and all that kind of stuff that I got to contend with. But I needed some stuff for the landscaping. And there's a hardware store here in town, but they're really expensive. And I thought, well, I bet I could get it cheaper if I went through Amazon, and I could. So I just went ahead and ordered it from them and had to wait a few days for it. But at this rate, the way it's raining, I may never get it out in the yard.
Yeah. I do like Costco. I like shopping at Costco because I can buy in bulk there and it's easy. But everything else, I'll get through Amazon. I'm even getting some food items through Amazon that I can't find elsewhere. That seems to be working good. So, I get my razors delivered from Harry's, #not sponsored. We get our dog food delivered from chewy.com, #not sponsored. Costco and then the local grocery store, because Costco doesn't have everything, and then Amazon all the way. And well, sometimes I'll run to the Apple store if I need to buy something that I want right away and pick it up. I'll maybe go to the Apple store. That's it, man. Easy tips and tricks, etc. here. Hello.
Yeah, that's Ken. Hey, Ken, how you doing? And we got Mel in the house. Good to see you, Mel. Glad you both dropped in. Everybody be sure and share this out, and let's get some folks in here. I'll probably do a giveaway here in a little bit.
Nice. Jim has a question for me. How do you like Harry's program, Matt? I freaking love it. And here's why. You got one blade option. They've got the 5 blades, and then they've got the little cleanup. They have a 6th single cleanup blade to get into like the nooks and crannies. And that's it. You do these other shave clubs, and there's the 3 blade, the 5 blade, the wiggle blade, the blade with the cream on it, blah, blah, blah. They've got one option. Now they got a lot of cool little handles and other little accessories, but you don't got to think about it. And it's a German blade company, and German engineering is like spot on, which was bought by Americans, and I love it. I love it. Can't say enough good things about it.
Ken asked, but are you getting a good price from Amazon, or are you paying top dollar?
Get a great price.
I think that, I compare. I'll comparative shop. If I can get it cheaper someplace else, I'll go someplace else.
Well, I have the honey, the honey extension, and it'll tell you what the price was over time. And I will kind of surf around, but in general, Amazon's either right on the money or sometimes lower. Very few times is it higher. But
see, Jim Dockrell says, shaving into the nooks and crannies. Is Matt talking about his operation again?
You will not let that die. I was absent for one show. Out of 100, how many have you done? 100 of these?
We done more than that.
We had our 100th episode, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, with my show, I'm 137, 136 for all things YouTube.
Okay, Ken's asking me a question. We're going to clear this up once and for all, I hope. He says, have never heard anything from the guy that won my fork, and I've been to his channel months ago, and the heat and
Get it, you like it. I have no clue.
Okay. He has written to you at least twice. I gave you the link at least twice to his Twitch channel where he did the reveal on the box and all that. And he's told you that he was crazy about it, that he likes the fork, that there's no issue with the fork, that he's pleased. He takes it with him wherever he goes. He takes it on vacation. I think he gave it a name. I don't know what else to tell you. And I've told you that 2 or 3 times in messages when you've asked me about it. I've left you the same comments on some of your videos about the fork. So I don't know if you have some kind of short-term memory thing that you're not retaining this or what. But
so the bottom line is that it got to where it was needed to be, and it was well received. End of story, period. Right?
I don't know how else to get this message conveyed.
Oh, my.
But yes, he's got it. He's happy with it. It's his best friend.
All right.
Oh,
there you go, folks. You heard it here first.
Thank you for doing that. We appreciate folks that contribute to the giveaways and the things that we do here on the channel. But Lord have mercy, I feel like I've spent a quarter of my life dealing with the fork. Oh Lord! But does he sleep with it? Probably so. kicked his wife out of bed and takes the pork to bed with him.
All right. All right. Let's go easy on him. He's got the point now.
Well, we hope so.
Rein it in, Brenda.
We hope that this cleared everything up to do with pork and fork. You heard it here first. Oh, mercy. I mean, I've always told people, be careful what you ask me. I will give you an answer and you might not like it.
Well, that's a true statement. True statement.
Matt learned that the hard way.
Didn't take me long to come around to that. Yeah, that's something you kind of figure out about Brenda pretty quick.
I mean, I think probably the classic one, though, was when you was in the hospital and you said, don't tell nobody that why I'm in here.
I didn't say it like that. I'm just like,
don't tell anybody. I'm like, okay.
I want people to focus on the good news.
If I can't tell them the truth, I'll make something up.
He says, I'm less of miscellaneous. All of that. Well, that's pretty cool. I haven't heard from him, so I guess that I have missed all the responses back. Wow. Not know what to say. Hey, listen, Ken, listen, we've all sort of been in that situation where, things slip by and you don't remember or you never get it. Look, we feel you. We feel you. West Haven always and forever is here. Hello, hello. Look at all the hearts.
Good to see you. Thank you.
From Connecticut. How are things up in Connecticut?
I hope the snow's melted up there.
I would hope so.
Well, I don't know. It snowed here 2 weeks ago. I was standing in the snow in the backyard, getting covered up in snow. Had my phone, and I said, "Hey, Google."
That's right. You told us. Yeah.
And he said, "What can I do for you?" And I said, "How much snow is it supposed to snow down in Portland, Indiana today?" And he said, "There will be no snow in Portland, Indiana today, only rain." And I'm getting covered up like a snowman in the backyard. Can't even see the garage from the patio. It's a whiteout.
Yeah, the whole weather forecasting and detection, it's an imperfect science.
So Tony shows up and he's standing out there and he says, "Are we going to be able to do the stuff we need to do out here today with it doing this?" And I said, "It's not snowing."
According to Google.
And he looks at me like, "What is wrong with you?" And I said, "Hey, Google, how much snow are we supposed to get in Portland, Indiana today?" And Google says, "There will be no snow in Portland, Indiana today, just rain." And so I said to Tony, "This is not snow. This is rain. Google said so. I heard it on the internet. It has to be true."
Because if it's on the internet, you know it's true.
So, yeah. And the day before that, it had snowed 1.5 inches snow. So, that was just 2 weeks ago. So, Connecticut might be an iceberg up there for all you know.
Well, I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case at all.
I said it's great. So, they must know.
Well, I've been using my computer for a little bit now, my new one.
Yeah.
It's going great.
They're not good.
Freaking awesome. Nothing I can't do. And, I'm starting to stumble on things that I forgot I needed to do that I do every once in a while. No hiccups. Oh, I need the FTP client. Download the FTP client. Moved my bookmarks over. Bada boom, done. And then I needed to use the terminal to get into a web server and change configuration. I'm like, oh, it's not going to work. Everything's working. And it's fast. there's no wait. Like, I don't know if Windows machines do this. Like, if you go to do an action, the little cursor, the little pointer turns into a spinning wheel for a second like that. Haven't seen one, except I was saving a large Photoshop file, like into a JPEG. And I saw that little spinning, they call it a beach ball. It's like a colored wheel. Looks like a beach ball. I saw it for about half of a second. That's it. After a week using the thing hard, video editing, photo editing, doing all the hard stuff, live streaming, doesn't miss a beat. Fan never comes on. Well, you can't hear it because I used to cripple the processor. Intel had a thing that says stop the turbo boost and just let it run slower. I had to always turn that sucker on. I'm like, I have this very expensive laptop and I'm crippling it just so the fan doesn't come on as much. No, I love it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Best thing
good.
I've
done. I hope that you didn't jinx it.
Well, yeah, it's under warranty for, 90 days or whatever. So
my laptop's been acting goofy. It generally will run okay, but every once in a while it'll do some silly thing. Like the other day when I turned it on, it didn't want to let me in. And it said that I'd need to put in my password. But when it went to the password page, it locked me out. Wouldn't let me type anything. And I turned it off, left it off a few minutes, turned it back on, and it started working. It can't act up right now. Dennis is in the hospital. So I've got nobody to work on it.
Gotcha. Well, I think the Mac Mini is going to be my computer for like every time that they upgrade it. Like if they keep the Mac Mini as a product and just drop in faster processors, I think that's going to be my computer going forward. I love the thing because I have a good monitor. I have a good audio. I've got great speakers. I've got an expensive mirrorless camera. Like, because when you get an iMac, it's got a good monitor. It's got a better 1080p camera. It's got great speakers. It's got 4 microphones. And I'm like, I've bought all that stuff separately. So I'm a big fan of the Mac Mini. Faux show.
I've never been into Mac. My husband was into Windows stuff, so that's what I've always known something about and able to deal with. I used the very first computer I ever used was an Apple at one of the businesses that I worked at. This was before computers really kind of took off, and they got this Apple computer and they kept it in the back office and everybody was afraid of it. And so they all went to lunch one day. I had 7 bosses in there and they all went to lunch. And when they went to lunch, I went back there in that back office because I told that computer, I said, I ain't afraid of you. And I turned that thing on and I went to playing with it. And I learned all kinds of things. It had games in there. It had all kinds of stuff going on with it. When they come back from lunch, they're looking around trying to figure out where I'm at. And so I hollered at them. I said, I'm back here. And they come back here. And it was like, oh, my God, she's messing with this computer. And so I showed them. I said, look at all the stuff I found out that this thing will do. And wasn't anything that contributed to business, actually. But,
No, I learned on the little 9-inch grayscale Mac 2C. We had Illustrator 88 because that was the year that they developed it. And then Adobe never branded the version after the year that because, then it becomes 89 and 90, it becomes old, even though it's still current. And and then we had them for graphics. We were doing desktop publishing for book publishing, electronic art for book publishing. And we had the Xenix machines. It was like a Unix clone. And then we had one Mac. And then it was like, oh, well, the old machine can do it better than this. And I remember the big thing was the non-Mac, it had an anchor point in the middle of text. So if there was a word, like on the Mac, you can grab it in the middle. You can left justify it or right justify it, but you can't grab the text in the middle. Like you had the baseline where it would snap, the point would snap on the baseline of the text. And that Xenix machine, you could snap to the middle. And that was the holy grail. As far as anyone was concerned, that's the reason we're keeping them. Because Macs can't do that. Like, to this day, that no computer can snap to the middle of a piece. It's irrelevant, but it was such a substantial thing back then. Just stupid.
Frenzy Wicked Truth's in the house. Hello.
Hi
Hope
there.
everything's going well for you.
Channel.
Jim Bashir says my first program was in Gottran on punch cards on an IBM mainframe at Purdue in 1976.
Jim Bashir's could teach a computer class, like a computer engineering class. He knows a lot. Yeah.
I took some computer classes at the Joint Vocational School that had to do with like word processing and that sort of thing. And the instructor was one of these that you use the least keystrokes possible. Well, I was kind of set in my ways on how I did things. And it might take me a couple extra keystrokes to get where I needed to go, but I could usually get there faster than anybody else because I was real quick with the mouse, you know. And so he would get on me about, why are you doing it that way? I mean, you're just taking extra keystrokes. And I said, I'm still getting there for everybody else.
Yeah. Your code's not elegant. It's not elegant, Brenda.
So, you know, after 2 or 3 weeks of listening to him, you know, groan and moan, and that's the only problem he had with me, is that, you know, I just wasn't taking the least amount of keystrokes. I knew what he was talking about before he got there. So I thought, you know, I seem to know as much about this as he does at this point, and I can get there faster than he can. So why am I wasting my money and time dealing with this? So I dropped out of the courses that I was taking. It was stuff that I dealt with every day, but I thought, you know, well, they are offering these courses, and so I'll take them, see if I can learn a little extra. But, you know, after taking, I don't know, it was 2 or 3 classes in each one of them. So, you know, it was like 6 or 9 trips that I'd made trying to take these classes, and I wasn't learning anything.
I remember on the Atari 800 computer in BASIC, I wrote a program, and it was pretty amazing. It was a maze, and you had a 1 pixel character, and you had to move the 1 pixel character through the maze to solve it. And I wrote in coordinates the walls, every coordinate where there was a wall, and then I wrote a routine to move the guy. So like joystick up, you would move the dot north, and then you would erase the dot where it just was. And then it would test again. Is the joystick still up? You would move the dot 1 more entry north, and then erase the one. Like, you all had to do that by hand. And then I had to do a routine where if it hit a wall, then it had to back out. Like, so you couldn't go through the wall. All this had to be programmed, and holy crap, I did it. And it worked on a 640 resolution monitor. You had with the Atari joystick jacked into the Atari 800 computer, and it was a game, and it took me forever. I had grid paper where I drew the maze on grid paper, so I would know what the coordinate. It was insane, and it's lost. Like, whatever, it's gone. Like, it doesn't exist anymore. It was on floppy, and then the floppy got lost or whatever.
Luana Pierce is in the house. Hey, Luana.
Hi, Luana.
Hope everything's going well in your world. Hey, do you know we probably need to try to do a giveaway?
Oh, we can do a giveaway. You want to do a giveaway, people?
Who wants me to do a giveaway? Everybody in or out?
Are you in? Type in, or out? Type out. I was stoked for my computer with 256 colors, says Jim Dockrell. Yep. Faux show. Faux show. You know what my brother did with the Atari 800? Because they had a 9-pin joystick connector. He found a routine. Hey, $5 super chat from Luana.
Woo-hoo!
Thank you. So my brother found a way to electrify the different pins, and he hooked up four Christmas lights, and he electrified them to where it could be like a marquee. So it would turn on light 1, light 2, light 3, light 4, light 1, light 2. So we had the most epic dancing Christmas lights, and it was driven by an Atari 800 computer because he electrified those pins in such a way that it would turn things. That was crazy.
Well, Luana, I don't know where the little cowbell is right now, because I've been in here rooting around on this desk trying to get things organized, and I'm not getting very far with that, because about the time I think I'm getting someplace, then the phone rings or something goes awry here that I got to deal with, because I'm thinking about eventually getting this office or this studio moved upstairs. But what I can do for you, since I can't find the little cowbell, is I can give you this little bell. That's almost as good as the little cowbell. Yeah, there's some saying that they're in for the giveaway. Well, if you want to give the spiel.
I just put a post out there trying to get more people in here. Okay, here's what's happening. When Brenda says go, you're going to put a number in the chat. She wrote a number down on a piece of paper. If you guess the number exactly right, you will win. Don't put a number until she says go. Make sure you're not behind time, because we all have to act immediately, and you don't want to be last. So drag the playhead to the right if you've paused it and we're not in real time while you're watching live. When she writes the number down, she's not using digits. She's writing it out as a word. And just to mess with me, because she knows I have a publishing background and I'm all for proper capitalization, she will go apeshit crazy on capitalizing different letters when she writes out the word of the number that she wrote down. And if you guess the number of capitals, you win a bonus prize. So you would type your guess / and then a number for how many capital letters when she says go. If you're in the lower 48, the shipping's free. If you're outside of the lower 48 states, you can pay the shipping, or you can re-gift it to someone else in the chat. So everyone can play along. Super chats do fund the shipping costs, because Brenda's on a fixed income. And I think that's the spiel. Did I miss anything?
Well, the number range is between 12 and 20. Between 12 and 20.
All right. When we're ready, say go.
Go!
All right, folks. Pick a number between 12 and 20. And you could win the prize. She will let you know what the prizes are after a winner is found.
Midnight Scroller's in the house. Hello, Midnight Scroller.
I'm Midnight Scroller. You know, Midnight Scroller has a good marketing routine, because I see a lot of her stuff. She posts a lot of her projects on Facebook, and I pick them up that way. So I like that.
What's the number Steve has up there? My eyes are playing tricks on me.
13.
Okay, he won.
Steve Nealon from Harnell Media. Congratulations. 13. She has 2 capital letters. You did not win the bonus prize, Steve from Harnell Media, but congratulations on winning the prize. And thank you, everyone, for playing. We appreciate that. And thank you, Brenda, for doing this for the community.
Well, y'all are welcome. I'll tell you what your prize choices are. I have the choice out on the bracelets, either the smaller one, which is the child size, or the larger one. These are made from paracord, and they got the snap clasp on the back. I've got the dragon's eye pendant, or you can put it on a keychain or whatever you want to put it on. These are hand painted by me. There's the dragon's eye. It's on a cabochon. I've got the ear pod case It's a Ben and Jerry's earpod
Oh, nice.
case.
Yeah. This is
We'll get that so that it sits correctly. Try to. There we go. The Ben and Jerry's earpod case has a little, I don't know.
carabiner.
Yeah, thingy jig to put it on your key ring with, and I've got a little wooden treasure chest that I painted and decorated, and it's painted on the inside too. You can put your little treasures in there. So there's your 4 choices.
Jim Dockrell says door number 2. That's not the wrong game show. How many hours did you have to do the maze? Says Ken from Easy Tips and Tricks, etc. Oh, it took me days. It took me days. I probably logged 30 hours programming and testing, and yeah.
Okay, Steve wants a dragon's eye. Steve, give me your address over on Messenger, please. That way I don't have to go trying to dig for it. And I will get that out in the mail to you tomorrow when I go to the postie office. I have to go to the post office anyway tomorrow. Do they have you, where you live, about every 4 years, have to fill out a form for the assessor's office about what kind of heat you have in your house, what kind of air conditioning you have in your house? And
no, they come to the door and knock and ask you.
Oh, well, they send letters here. It's the second time that I've gotten one since I've lived here, and I have to fill that out and get it back to them. Of course, the courthouse is closed up. You can't get in there, unless you work there. So you have to mail it to them. And I'm like, here, I just live a few blocks from the place, and now I have to mail it? Seriously? But, hey.
Yeah, my one friend is on the one of the boards at the county for the assessment board, and companies will fight their assessment to get their properties lower so they pay less taxes, which then means all the normal people have to pay more to make up for it because they're not paying as much. And he straight up tells them, he's like, look, it's like, if you come back again, we're not only going to reject you, we're going to raise it because it's getting out of control. He's like, we got to stop the bleeding. You owe your fair share. There's a palatial golf course in our town. I mean, it is, every blade of grass is perfect. The clubhouse is just marble and granite and just high end everything. And the freaking thing is assessed at $200,000. The property and the structures. I'm like, there is no way. It's like, I'll write you a check and you can sell it to me. You know how big golf courses are, how much land that is, and on the beautiful structure. I was like, there's no way that property is that. So they're paying taxes on as if it's worth 200,000. I'm like, in my world, everything's got to be at least fair.
Well, here, the property values just over the course of last month have jumped significantly.
Oh, that's good for homeowners that want to sell. You get more money.
Well, they say that
you mean the assessment of them, or just what people are willing to pay?
Well, on Zillow, if you look up the property on Zillow, it has jumped. My place jumped like $10,000.
Well, what you want is you want the lowest assessment, so you pay less taxes, and you want the highest dollar amount when you sell it to someone. Yeah. That's the way that. That's the way.
My property taxes went up $70 a year when they sent me my property tax bill, and
that's due to the school board. The school board raises property taxes.
I'm like, holy smoke! And now everybody in town just going ballistic. But there's a whole lot of folks that's saying, well, we still have the lowest property taxes of any county around here, and so that makes it okay. Well, I'm like, wow, when you don't expect it, out of the blue, and you're on a fixed income, that hurts. I'm like, okay, well, what bill am I going to let go this month so they can pay the property taxes, because I can't lose the house.
It's crazy. We had a extended family that lived in New Jersey all their life. A little ranch house. They're not extravagant. They're not ungodly wealthy. They're just middle class. They're living in New Jersey. And over the decades, property values went sky high. They sold their little ranch house in New Jersey and bought a huge, huge house in Pennsylvania. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I have a friend that lives in San Francisco, and his house is worth like $900,000 or some outrageous amount, and it's just a little ranch. And he's thought about selling it and moving back to Indiana because he was originally from Indiana, buku years ago when he was a kid. But he hates to think about packing up and leaving. And I said, well, listen, that would be one huge chunk of change you'd come out with, even though our property values are going up here, they're not no $900,000.
Yeah.
And you'd come out with a real big chunk of change out of all that if you decided to do it. But so far he's not making any moves. But I'm thinking, man, I'd much rather be in Indiana than I would California in the first place. So,
the previous owners of the business that I work for had headquarters in New Jersey, which was about 30 minutes outside of Manhattan on the New Jersey side. And there were these little apartments. They were, not apartments. They were where you buy them, condos where you have a mortgage and you buy them. And they're just a little 3 stories, like one room. They have a garage at the bottom, and they have a living, and then they have an upper story. And there's like 12 of them in a building, and you can buy one of those little slivers. $1 million. And they got like linoleum and just regular countertop. Like there's not marble. These are just no frills. And it was $1 million to own that little condo. Yeah. And then what they'll do is people will buy houses where they actually have standing houses. They'll buy 2 of them and they'll knock them both down, and they'll put up a 7-bedroom estate on there. Mm-hmm. And each house, each little rancher is millions of dollars, and they'll buy them, knock both of them down, and then they'll build on top of it. And it's just like 7-bedroom house, 7-bedroom house, 4 garage, 4 car, I was like, how do people have this much money? I don't get it. Well, what are they doing that I'm not doing?
Well, I have thought about if I had the money, if I couldn't hit the big bucks, but I had some money. If say the guy behind me decided that he wanted to sell his place, it's just like a little 1-bedroom house, that if I had the money, buy that, knock that down, and put me up like a 4-car garage back there so that I could have a shop. Yeah. Just be right across the alley. It wouldn't be like, you'd have to drive any place to it. And if I wanted to have a van again someday, that put in a nice big garage door in there that you could get the van through.
Sure. Oh, Moz42 says just stopping by quick. He's got lawns to mow. Well, thanks for stopping by. There's no wrong way to watch the show.
Good to see you, Moz. Hope everything's going well in Aussie land.
Please drop a like on your way out. That would be helpful to the channel. But no, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, set me up with a couple of those garages, and I'll be good to go.
Yeah, guy 2 doors down bought the lot right behind him. All he had on it was a garage, but the garage was in really, really pitiful shape. He fixed it up some, but it still leaves something to be desired. But it's good enough for him to put his lawn equipment and stuff in, and he can lock it up, and keep his stuff so that it's safe. But then the rest of the lot sits vacant there. And I'm thinking, man, I tell you what, I'd be tempted to till that up, put a garden on it, or put a hothouse on it or something, so that I could be growing me some vittles in, do something else with that. But yeah, it's all he has to do is mow it.
Yeah, sounds good. Good.
Oh my.
McMansion, says Jim Dockrell. Yep, McMansions. You got that
Yeah,
much money, you can call them anything you want.
I keep playing the lottery, thinking that eventually the ship's going to come in. Eventually.
Wouldn't that be nice? Brenda with more money than she knows what to do with.
So people say that that's more trouble than it's worth. I want to find out.
Money makes problems go away. Might not buy happiness, but you'll be problem free.
Well, you probably have a new set of problems, but I'd rather have that new set than the ones I got now.
That's right. That's right. I hear you.
Oh, shoot. So Jim Dockrell says, put some 2x6 garden and add headstones. Well, they got those above ground gardens now, that's what I like. I like for the thing to be elevated because I can't get down on my knees anymore, crawl around like I used to, in just a bare garden on the ground. But get it up where that you can work on things and do what you need to do. So kind of a hothouse style, have them put a roof over top of it and have it tall enough so that you can just reach in and do what you need to do without having to get on your knees crawling around.
Yep, that'd be good. I think I lost my flowers. I was going to plant sunflowers. I had a little pack. Oh, wait, no, here they are. I see them. I thought
I'll say what you had to start talking about them so you could find them.
There they are.
Well, you better get some of them wet. Find out if they're going to germinate.
They expired 2019.
Oh my.
I'll put them in on a plate and I'll put them in a paper towel and spritz them with water.
And get them where they can get it where it will stay warm.
Yeah, I'll do it here in the office until they start running.
Yeah, put like a piece of plastic or something over the top of them there so that it keeps the heat in, and see if you can't get them to germinate a little bit. I'm not going to put a garden out for another week or so yet. I'm going to wait and see what the weather's going to do because it's still getting in the 30s at night here.
Well, I wouldn't need to cover them if they're in the house, would I?
Well, you need to hold the heat in.
The inside of the house is not cold.
Well, the warmer they are, the faster they're going to germinate.
Oh.
I mean, you don't want to cook them, but.
Well, I should have kept my SSD drive. I could have put it right next to it. And it was just the radiant heat coming off.
But yeah, I'm gonna go out tomorrow and buy some tomato plants, and I got my bean seed and stuff that I need. But I'm going to give it another week or so and get the nighttime temperatures up in above 40 before I go putting stuff in the ground.
Oh, I see. And Luana has some advice. She says, what did she write? She wrote,
they need a bit of sunshine, she says.
Oh, yeah, I'll keep them by the window when they're in the house. I'll move them. Now, these aren't the mammoth ones. These are like the 4 foot, like about 4 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
They're cool. I like them.
Yeah, the problem I've always had with sunflowers is the bugs like to eat the seeds out of them so bad.
What do I care? It didn't stay long. Like it looked like this for about 5 days, and then they all kind of deteriorated. Like it would get to this point, stay like that for 5 days, and then it would.
Huh. I wonder if they needed like some more nitrogen in the ground or something to.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I have Milorganite for the grass. That's mostly nitrogen. Maybe I'll put a little bit of that in the plant, in the pot.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to put so much in that it burns them, but you want to put, some in to feed them.
SSD heater bar, says Jim Bashirs. Yep. I bought a different one. I'm getting a SanDisk now. So I bought a SanDisk SSD external. That's arriving tomorrow. See if that does better.
Yeah, Luana said that I look like I've lost weight. Yeah, I'm down 55 pounds now. So I'm headed the right direction.
Good. Good. You're going to wither away to nothing, Brenda.
I'm shooting for invisible.
That'd be nice.
Because imagine how much havoc I can cause if I'm invisible.
You could get into a lot of trouble. But yeah, no, I'm slowly dropping it, and I'm hitting keto pretty hard now. I do take in a little more carbs than I should, but it's enough to keep the weight dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could probably drop even faster, like if I really stuck to it. But I'm like, I'll lose a pound a week. Works for me.
Well, I have found that I can be good as gold, and I'm not on a keto. All right, I'm just trying to eat healthier. Like I'll think about, boy, wouldn't it be great, to have some French fries, or I think of something greasy and all that. And I think, but would a skinny person be eating this if they were trying to lose some more weight? If they put on a few pounds? No, they wouldn't. So maybe, we should do something different. Maybe we should have some carrots, or maybe we should have some cauliflower, or some Brussels sprouts, or some cabbage, or just a salad. Maybe we should be good. So I do that. But every once in a while, I have found that if I'm a little bad, I'm not talking, let's just go eat a whole chocolate cake. I'm talking about, just a little slice of cake, or a little slice of pie, just a little something.
Mm-hmm.
That then the weight seems to start falling off of me again.
Right.
So
that's what I do. Because dark chocolate is good for keto, and almonds are good for keto, and they had milk chocolate covered almonds. I bought them. I have a few. I don't shove a handful in my face every day.
You don't fill the mixing bowl up with them,
right,
and then stick your face in there and see how many you can suck down. Isn't that a pretty picture? Oh, Lord. You're not supposed to eat a chocolate cake. That's right. You're not supposed to eat the whole chocolate cake.
Choco cake. Eat so much I get a tummy ache. Al Bundy, he said that from Mary.
Little sliver of it, you can get away with that. And that way, it satisfies your taste buds. You got to taste what it was.
Right.
And then you just go back to your dieting and do what you're supposed to do. I try to stay away from anything that has refined sugar in it. But every once in a while, and I'm not saying like every other day. I'm not saying like even every other week, maybe once a month. Just a little tiny something. Just see it through and get the weight coming off. So, this time I dropped 4 pounds. I've been on a plateau there for a while, it was staying even keel. And I'm like, what the devil's going on here? Because I've been good. This should just be flying off of me.
I was plateauing because we had cheesecake in the house. And even though it was keto cheesecake, it was like barely keto. And the servings are only like that big.
Mm-hmm.
So once I stopped that, then it started going down. I didn't gain, but I leveled off for a week. And then I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Then what I would do is I would take out of something that's that big, I would take half of it. Mm-hmm. And that way you get the little taste of it. And I don't know.
Well, I used to model when I was in my late teens and early 20s, and even some in my 30s and 40s. But I used to model. And when I was going full speed ahead at the modeling thing, I had to be under 100 pounds.
100? That's next to nothing.
Yeah. And so when I went up to 120 pounds, I felt like, I had ballooned up huge. I look back at that now and laugh, but I remember what it took to keep me under 100 pounds. And, I'll be thinking, okay, it's time for lunch. What should I have for lunch? And I'm thinking, what would a model be eating for lunch?
Salad.
No, it's usually a carrot stick and a piece of celery.
Yeah. Well, that's a little.
And while I don't want to go, that bizarre with this whole thing, once I tell myself that, then what I talk myself down to is a little more reasonable.
Yeah.
Go from the ridiculous to the ridiculous, and then somewhere in the middle is the sublime. Oh, shoot.
Yep.
Well, I think we've probably done all the dirty deeds that we can do for one show. So we probably need to turn everybody loose for this week. And Lord willing, we'll be back here next Thursday, as far as I know. Mother's Day is Sunday, so I hope everybody does something nice for their mother if their mother's still around, or somebody that you think of as a mother, or the mother of your children, or your daughter might have some kids, or whatever. Try to do something nice for the mothers in your life.
Happy early Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
And then Monday night, Matt will be doing his show on All Things YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and telling us all the antics that he's going through with Susan. And then I'll be putting out a Heifer Haven later tonight, so you can all stay tuned for that one, where I'm going to give some free advice. I said free, not good.
Love me some Heifer Havens.
So we will let y'all go, and we will see you on the interwebs.